Good day, everyone. Welcome to Thesis Writing 1 lecture. I am your professor. My name is Las Yuansing Kaluza. I am a graduate faculty of Leyte Rumal University. In this lecture, you're expected to understand the concept of writing a thesis in the graduate school, apply the skills and knowledge acquired in the basic research in writing thesis, and understand the parts of a graduate school thesis. And finally, you'll be able to conceptualize a thesis proposal. So what is a master's thesis? According to Gobler 2021, a master's thesis is an extensive scholarly paper that allows you to dig into a topic, expand on it, and demonstrate how you've grown up, or how you've grown as a graduate student throughout the program of your field of specialization. Basically, the graduate schools often require a thesis for students in research-oriented degrees to apply their practical skills before culmination or before they graduate. Why conducting a master's thesis? Mark Winter, in 2015, according to him, it allows the students to dig into a topic and produce an expanded document that demonstrates how their knowledge has grown throughout the degree program. This is where your field of expertise is being tested, and somehow you learn a lot of information from the readings that you conducted. And of course, while doing the thesis, you will also learn new insights from the different literature reviews that you have conducted. So what is the purpose of a master's thesis? The purpose of a thesis is to enable the students to develop deeper understanding and knowledge, capabilities, and attitudes in the context of the program of the study, or in the context of your field of expertise or field of specialization. So these are the specific learning outcomes for a master's thesis. First, considerably more in-depth knowledge of the major subject or field of study, including deeper insight into current research and development work. Second, deeper knowledge of methods in the major subjects or field of study. Third, the capability to contribute to research and development work. Fourth, the capability to use a holistic view to critically, independently, and creatively identify, formulate, and deal with complex issues. Fifth, the capability to plan and use adequate methods to conduct qualified tasks in given frameworks and to evaluate his work. Sixth, the capability to create, analyze, and critically evaluate different technical, architectural solutions. Seventh, the capability to critically and systematically integrate knowledge. Eighth, the capability to clearly present and discuss the conclusions as well as the knowledge and arguments that form the basis for these findings in a written and spoken English. Ninth, the capability to identify the issues that must be addressed within the framework of the specific thesis in order to take into consideration all relevant dimensions of sustainable development. Number 10, a consciousness of the ethical aspects of research and development work. So let's have a recap on the skills and knowledge learned in basic research course. So according to Indeed editorial team in 2021, research skills are our ability to find an answer to a question or a solution to a problem. Research skills include the ability to gather information about your topic, review the information, and analyze, interpret the information in a manner that brings us to a solution. That's why in research, when you follow rigorously the process and the steps of doing this, perhaps in the long run you will be able to develop these research skills. So what are those skills in the workplace that can be developed throughout doing a thesis or doing research in the graduate school? So first is the searching for information. All research involves the research for credible information that you can analyze and use to arrive at an answer or solution. In the workplace, for example, the information you search for will likely help you complete either your project and add value to your company, to your organizations, or to your school. For example, you may look for information on how to resolve your organization, your company, issues, or identify your customers' needs. Next, we have attention to details. So you are very, meticulous here as skills. Now, having the ability to pay close attention to details is often an essential skill in the workplace. Your job responsibility will likely involve following specific policies and procedures outlined by your organization, your school, or your company, which means you need to know the details of those policies and procedures. Your job duties may also require you to pay close attention to the information outcome customers give you so you can make a sales or resolve a customer complaint. Then we have taking notes or field notes. Taking note taking basically skills involve the ability to gather most important information being presented to you and doing is summarization, or you summarize it in writing so you can reference it later. Okay, so knowing how to take good notes will help you in several ways throughout your career, throughout your journey in research. You will need to take effective notes during trainings, for example, meetings, or you may also need to take notes during an interviews or focus group discussions, specifically if you are the interviewer, or especially rather if you are the interviewer. Time management. Time management skills refers to the ability to break down projects or stages of your research into manageable parts, meaning by chunks, by chapters, or by subtopics. Make a deadline-oriented plan and complete each section of your plan, of your chapter, of your subtopics of your chapter by your scheduled deadline. Time management skills involve setting goals or goal settings, planning, organizing, delegating, and prioritizing tasks. Displaying strong time management skills in the workplace can help you complete tasks on deadline, accomplish your goals, and advance your career. Another one is in the critical thinking skills, the problem solving skills in research. This refers to the ability to handle difficult situations and overcome complex business challenges or research challenges. Problem solving skills involve the ability to break a problem down into its parts, thinking critically about each element. Analyze the information you find and use this information to form an effective solution. Having strong problem-solving skills will help you make a valuable assets to your organizations, to your school, or to your company, and can help you advance in your career later on. Another one is the communication skills or communicating results. Communication skills refers to the ability to understand the information you receive and present information in a manner others can easily understand what you are writing in your thesis or in your research. Your language itself, the use of the language, all right? Use only simple terms or simple terms in your research. Make it simple. Okay. The most important thing there is you are articulately stating in detail the result and doing a good analysis of your research. Take note that communication skills involve active listening, observing, and speaking. Research skills require good communication skills to present the results of your research. Strong communication skills are often one of the most important skills employers look for in the candidates. So, in your basics research course, so what are those that you have performed in activities in this course? Let's try to recap on this. So you conducted a research conceptualization, and then you discuss and talk about understanding the nature and characteristics of educational research. Maybe you talk about the research problems and objectives. You do review of related literatures. You talk about sampling, research approaches and designs, and writing your research proposal or even the full paper itself. And perhaps some of your professors requires you for a paper presentation in your class or in a conference outside your school, and perhaps advise you to publish your work in a journal. So these are just some of the activities that you maybe perform in your basic course. Through this, you'll be able to learn how to conduct a research and experience the real in real world situations on how you do the research and how you publish, you present and publish your research. So how do you conceptualize your thesis? So these are some situations manifesting a problem for you to be able to conceptualize your thesis. First, we have there is an absence of information resulting to a gap in the existing body of knowledge. That is why it is good to conduct a critical analysis of several literatures related to the topic that you wanted to study. Okay, there are contradictory results. Third, there are probable solutions but have not been tested. The occurrence of the phenomena requires scientific investigation to arrive at a precise solutions. So what are the parts of the grad school thesis? First is the title. Title is one of the most difficult, framing of that title is one of the most difficult. But let's make it simple. So take note that your title must reflect the content of your thesis. Okay, must be concise but informative. Okay, it is advisable to have about like 8 to 15 words only in one particular title of your thesis. In QLR or qualitative research, it basically includes the phenomenon, the research participants, and the setting if possible, but do not mention or do not reveal the participants. Sometimes they include the design of the research. For quantitative research, the title should provide the researchers with direction in conducting the investigation. It should indicate the general focus and the educational content of the problem. It should also be concise and should identify the key variables of the research study. Okay, let's talk about one by one in terms of chapter and its subtopics. So the background and rationale. So what is it in the background rationale? So basically in the graduate school, we use the inverted pyramid approach, meaning to say we start from the general point of view, what is going on in the literature internationally, nationally, and then regionally, and then to your local setting. Okay, that is how we write in an inverted pyramid. Situate your topic within the broader spectrum of your study. So remember that when you are writing your thesis, start with the thesis statement. All right, what is it that you are claiming, and why you are conducting this research? This is the most important thing, the reason why you are conducting this research. There are two things that we're going to look into: the gap of knowledge and the gap of information. So when we say the gap of knowledge, basically these are literatures showing the gap, supporting the gap that you have mentioned, that you are claiming, and showing that literature that there is really a gap on that particular topic, going down to narrowing it down to the specific. In other words, the last part will be the natural setting. Discuss what you observe, what you see, and what are the gaps that you see in the natural setting in connection to your study. So a paragraph should have a gap, then support that with literature showing the gap, and make a synthesis from it, and then you make a little bit of conclusion about that particular paragraph. Okay, so another one is a description of the general problem followed by the statement of specific problems and motivation of the study. So how do you basically state the problem in your background rationale? For example, the problem is that, okay, another one is little is known about, available resource has failed to, or no study has been found that has, and so on and so forth. So these are some simple introductory statement. Okay, so how do you state framework of the study. For quantitative research, there are two parts: the theoretical framework and the conceptual framework. So theoretical framework basically is a synthesis of theories that you believe are the basis for your study. So know what type of theory you need, decide on the leading theories of your study, select them carefully based on what you have read about your topic, synthesize them. Okay, carefully explain and synthesize each one of those theories, how it relates to your study, how it will be used in your study, link them to your study, explain how they each fit perfectly for your study. And for conceptual framework basically is not required for qualitative research, only for quantitative research. It's actually a mental image or a graphical representation anchored on the theoretical framework and the review of related literature, a detailed presentation of the variables to be observed in the ongoing study, and it should clearly clarify the relationship between and among variables in the study. Okay, it is illustrated by drawing conceptual paradigm or schema on how these variables play together, associated or do some correlations. Okay, take note that if you wish to create some types of conceptual framework for your QLR, you can create a visual map of how your study will be conducted. In this case, an arrow should not be used as it would make it a quantitative study. Alright, such a framework will help your panel members to quickly visualize how the study will be carried out. Preferably, it should be in the methodology chapter, which is actually optional. So, statement of the problem. It should be stated both in general and then the specific statements or terms. The problem is that the problem is stated in interrogative form. It must ask a question, and sub-problems must follow the main problems, which are the key issues for the investigations in the research. So for QLR, it should be written in an affirmative form, not an interrogative form. For example, despite the growing interest in the 19th century geographical representation, no geographer has yet seriously examined the remarkable discourses that emerged during the later half of the century to represent the geographies of worlds beyond, and so on and so forth. Okay? So how do you state the hypothesis, or what is really a hypothesis? It's a statement of what one expects to find, a statement to be proven, an essential answer to the research question. It is stated in the context of the variables. It is done on the basis of relevant theory and existing knowledge. It is only applicable for a quantitative research. So how do you state your scope and delimitation of the study? It defines the boundaries in the problem area within which the study will be done and the population or situation to which the findings may apply. For example, this study will include 8 to 15 recent board passers of the licensure examination for teachers. They are first-time LET takers and Latin honor graduates in one of the universities in the Philippines. For the limitations of the study, these are constraints to the study that are beyond your control but that may influence the data. Limitations may emerge at the A&E during your study. Alright, for the significance of the study. This section provides answers as to what the study will contribute. It should specifically state the value of the study. Why is this important, or why this study is important. Okay? And then we have the definition of terms. Definition of terms, basically, these are operationally defined terms. These should not be taken from other sources. These terms are basically defined according to how you use it in your study. Okay? Be sure that important terms and concepts used in the study are adequately defined. In quantitative research, assign a precise meaning by defining the terms operationally. Okay, for the review of literature, these are the things to consider. So, provide an introductory statement, meaning what to expect in this chapter. It could be 2 to 3 sentences. showing on what to expect in this chapter. So another one is by writing it in a conceptual literature. So what is it? It guided by understanding of basic issues rather than a research methodology. Conceptual literature review is looking for key factors, concepts or variables, and the presumed relationship between them. The goal of the conceptual literature review is to categorize and describe concepts relevant to the study or topic and outline the relationship between them, including relevant theory and empirical research. And in your literature review, you also include local and foreign studies. Another one is there are two ways of presenting a review of literature. It could be written in a chronological order by date or in a thematic presentation, which is basically applied in the graduate school, in our school. So we use the thematic presentation. Chapter 3, the methodology for quantitative research. So you state first the introductory statement. As I've said a while ago, it should be in what to expect in this chapter, and it could be 2 to 3 sentences. Now it's up to you, but not too long. All right. Then we have the research design. State the design, why the design fits in your study. You should have to cite literature, a literature review confirming that this study fits. This design fits in your study. Then followed by the research locale or research setting. Then we have the respondents, sampling procedure, research instrument. This includes the validation of the instrument, data gathering procedure or data collection, statistical treatment of data or data analysis. For qualitative research, you also include introductory statement, as I've said a while ago, maybe 2 to 3 sentences, then followed by the research design. Okay, it could in qualitative research there are different kinds of research design, same as in quantitative research or in mixed methods. Then we have the research locale or research settings, participants of the study, that includes the selection criteria of your participants, and then sampling procedure, and then the ethical considerations. Then we have the data collection method. Then we have the data analysis. You can choose any of this, but it depends upon the type of designs in qualitative research that you use. For example, thematic analysis. You can do Coolidge's descriptive phenomenological method of data analysis, hermeneutic analysis, and content analysis, and others. Then we have establishing trustworthiness. So you can do the member checking, triangulation, reflexivity, peer debriefing, and audit trail. So for your proposal, you are required to accomplish chapters 1 to 3. For your final defense, you are required to accomplish chapter 4 and 5, such as for chapter 4, we have presentation, analysis, and interpretation of data or results and discussion. For chapter 5, summary, conclusion, and the recommendations. And in the graduate school, we utilize APS style 7th edition for the references, and this will be followed by appendices. Take note that indicate the page number at the upper right corner of your manuscript. The title page and chapter page should not bear the page number. Always remember that. So, let's have a recap on what we talk about in this lecture. Concept of a graduate school thesis. We talk about the skills and knowledge learned in the basic research course, conceptualizing your thesis, and we discuss also the parts of the graduate school thesis. So thank you very much. This is your professor, Las Yuansin B. Caluza of the graduate school faculty. This is my email address if you have any questions. Thank you very much.